How can you improve the chances of getting what you want? I'm going to unpack that. I'm Roach Mark Roach. I've taken 10 years out of my life to examine what's going on inside of me, inside our communities here in America and around the world. I'm trying to share what I learned in a few videos here on YouTube in particular to help you, to provoke you to examine yourself deeper. To improve the probability of getting what you want, what you really want and need, it's important to shed any emotional baggage and misconceptions that you may have. Maybe some false rules of thinking that are unsupported by your body, by your spirit and soul. So I found that it's important to notice your emotional reactions and strong recurring feelings that can play a crucial role in resolving inner conflicts to achieve inner peace. Because to get what you really want and need, to get those into alignment with your relationships, your daily life, your behaviors, your subconscious, and to get your soul and spiritual connection in line with these goals and objectives, these motivations, these wants that you have become aware of and are actively, working to achieve or to manifest in the now, you have to get clear to sustain those. You may get what you want in the short term and then find it's not the game that you really wanted, or the outcome is not producing the happiness or satisfaction. So here's some ways to harness your emotions effectively. Understanding emotions in conflict resolution. I think it's important to identify and name the emotions. Accurately identifying emotions is the first step in conflict resolution. Vague terms such as upset can obscure underlying feelings such as disappointment or frustration. By naming emotions precisely, individuals can better understand their root causes and address them effectively. Now that sounds like something very simple, naming them. Well, I'm here to tell you, emotions are complicated, and just naming them that's just the beginning. You really have to do some deep searching. I had a coach, an acting coach, that brought up self-loathing to me, and that was not a word or a term that I had a lot of experience with. And I remember looking up the meaning of loathing and thinking, okay, well, I get it. And now I find myself 20 years later still examining what that means to me and how it is operating in my life. So after you do that, and that may be a long exercise that goes on for maybe a lifetime for some of us. But as you do that, the next step is to claim and own your emotions. Acknowledge that your emotions are personal and not imposed by others. This ownership allows individuals to take responsibility for their feelings and reactions, which is crucial for resolving inner conflict. You see a lot of people playing the blame game, saying, basically looking at another person or an event and blaming the feelings that they're having upon that person or event. Now, at one level, there is some truth that if someone, someone comes up and they call me a name, I'm not responsible for what they do, but the feelings that I have when they call me a name That's what I'm talking about here. That's what you have to own, is how you feel and what those emotions, without connection to the external stimulus, and just become more aware as to where those feelings may have come from. If someone came up and they called me, like let's say someone called me a girl, well, I don't have much of a reaction to it these days. If when I was 4 or 5 years old, or 10 years old, maybe I would have, and maybe I did. But I don't today, because I'm very confident in my masculinity and in my sexuality, and that would have more of my reaction would be more like, okay, well, what kind of help does this person need? Because I'd like to know if there is anything feminine that they're suggesting about me, or that they see in me. I'd like to know more about it. So then the third thing here is to channel this emotional energy. You've heard me talk about using my rage and anger, and how that led to a lot of curiosity as to the origins of it in my body and in my life. And when you notice an emotion, these emotions can generate energy that can be redirected towards gaining insights into conflicts, whether they're in conflicts internally or conflicts in your family or community or in your one-on-one relationships. Activities like physical exercise, journaling, or discussing feelings with a friend can help process these emotions and lead to more constructive solutions. There's also the concept of emotional processes and inner peace. Balance and equanimity is about achieving inner peace. It involves experiencing emotions in a balanced manner. This balance, or equanimity, allows individuals to maintain emotional stability and reduces the likelihood of being overwhelmed by strong feelings. You hear a lot of people today talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness and acceptance. Practicing mindfulness, for example, helps individuals stay present with their emotions without judgment. Judgment being coming to conclusions or outcomes or condemning. Accepting these emotions as they are rather than suppressing them can lead to a more profound sense of inner peace. There's also a neuroscience aspect, neuroscience of emotional regulation, understanding the neurological basis of emotions, such as the role of the amygdala or the prefrontal cortex, can aid in managing emotional responses. I think that having a visualization of what's going on in your body sometimes is beneficial to helping you have more self-awareness, and it gives you a step away from feeling like you are the emotion rather than someone at the center that's experiencing it. Techniques like deep breathing and meditation can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation and peace. And then there's steps we take to resolve these inner conflicts, like shifting perspectives, which I use a lot. Move away from the right-wrong mindset and focus on identifying universal needs. As a kid, I was in the middle of a lot of conflict, and I remember thinking, well, if I was in China versus America today, I wonder how my counterpart over there would be responding to the fight that I see in front of me, to this argument. And this kind of shift can help in understanding the underlying motivations behind conflicting emotions and desires. Then challenging yourself to integrate these conflicting parts. This is important. recognize that integrating different parts of yourself that may be in conflict involves listening to each part with compassion and understanding. And this can dissolve those biases that lead to a more harmonious resolution of these conflicts. Practicing self-compassion, treating oneself with kindness and patience during the process of resolving inner conflict is difficult. Conflict and patience are not easy to put into the same sentence, not even to come close to helping instruct someone as to how to do that. That takes a lot of self-understanding, a lot of work with yourself to come to the point where you can allow a conflict, the peace to sit with you, and to even be kind to the other side of an issue that is really causing you a lot of internal turmoil. But this approach does foster a supportive internal environment conducive to peace and well-being. So by understanding and harnessing emotional reactions, individuals can effectively resolve their inner conflicts and cultivate a lasting sense of peace. This process involves a combination of emotional awareness, mindfulness, self-compassion, supported by insights from a variety of modalities, from neuroscience to psychology to your relationships. Your spirit and your soul. I'm Roach, Mark Roach. All the best.